So it looks like video games are going on strike. That's right. Video game actors are gonna, well, take a knee until they feel like they're paid properly and are protected from AI. Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, let's check it out on That Game Place. Hi, folks, it's me, CC, along with the effervescent comics division. How are you doing today, comics?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. Thanks you for being here. I knew this would be something that you would like to talk about. Strikes are always super fun. And I will...
Indeed, they are.
They are, indeed. Yeah, they really make sure you get your money week to week. But anyway, it looks like video game actors are officially on strike over AI. They are not interested in it, in even trying to compete with it, which I understand because, as you've seen with all of your toying around with AI, it can make amazing music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can.
So I would suspect it probably can make great voices.
It can, potentially. And I kind of feel like this is deja vu for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, I think it's sweeping across the entertainment industry, and it's something that we warned all these people about, that they would be basically having themselves replaced. And this is from Stephen Totillo. He actually is over at gamefile.news, and he posted the actual SAG-AFTRA strike paper. So an industry rep says they're disappointed and says the agreement agreement was reached on 24 of 25 issues. Well, what do you think that issue was?
I'm pretty sure that issue is AI.
You are correct, sir. So video game voice and performance actors will go on strike a minute after midnight on the 27th of July. Why am I not saying tonight? Because this is recorded just before you're seeing it, so I'm not sure when you'll see it. I do know this. They've been citing an impasse for 21 months or after 21 months of negotiations between SAG-AFTRA union and major Western video game companies. And we know we've been talking about this on the horizon. The sticking point, of course, is generative AI and concerns that it can be trained to create synthetic voices that would cost actors their jobs.
That's very much a real possibility. I mean, just look at 11 Labs. I mean, their AI is great when it comes to creating voices and whatnot. I mean, so the fact that they can do this, they could use 11 Labs and just replace actors. I don't see why they couldn't. I think the only issue that they're going to run into is that I don't think AI is going to have the range as an actor may have currently.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to convey the proper emotion, inflection, a number of elements that an actual performance actor can do.
But given time, it probably can, though. And as they say, AI, this is the worst AI is ever going to be right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's only going to get better.
Only going to get better. So according to President Fran Drescher, we're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough. When these companies get serious about offering an agreement our members can live and work with, we will be here ready to negotiate. So really, they're just kind of done. Now, the union's been negotiating for over a year with a collection of the biggest game companies, including Take-Two Interactive, Insomniac Games, Electronic Arts, Activision, and voice acting studio Formosa Interactive. So there you go. That's a lot. That's a lot of games, right? Mm-hmm. I did hear, for whatever reason, that Grand Theft Auto's by Take-Two Interactive may be, able to continue work through this, but we'll see. I want to confirm that that's actually true. Audrey Cooling, a rep for the game production company, says, "We're disappointed the union has chosen to walk away when we are so close to a deal, and we remain prepared to resume negotiations." Well, you're going to have to protect them from AI, or I don't think they're going to show up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think striking over AI is probably a bad idea. It's just going to happen at that point. You're kind of like making the inevitable happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is going to completely remove voice actors. It's probably for like characters that aren't important. I mean, if they want to have a big name attached, I could see why they would want to do something like that. I mean, we've seen Norman Reedus be a part of several video games actually, as a voice actor and having his likeness used as well. So I don't know. I think you're probably going to see it definitely benefiting smaller studios that really can't afford voice actors. But I mean, who knows at this point? I mean, it's a good possibility that everything's gonna be freaking AI in the future.
Well, and look, I mean, the impact of this strike is going to be severe.
Mhm.
Because it's going to affect an industry that spends hundreds of millions of dollars on AAA games, right?
Well,
And
okay. Let me cut in real quick.
yeah,
Another issue that can potentially happen with a strike, which means that they just hire independent voice actors. That's
right,
another possibility too, that
yeah,
aren't a part of the union, because the unions really do kind of mess things up, and
yeah,
it's part of the reasons why we're in this position when it comes to actors as well, as writing, writers as well. So yeah, I kind of feel like in a weird sort of way, this is gonna either be a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, or they're just gonna look to independent voices or voice actors.
right. So I think that that's probably the other thing that they'll do in the interim.
Mm,
And I do believe I was correct. It's not in the here, but I do believe that the GTA 6 is kind of going to be spared this because it's on an interim agreement.
mm.
But I'm not certain. What I did want to show everybody was the actual letter that SAG-AFTRA sent out. And this, as you can see, I'll have to make it smaller. Boop, there we go. Um, this letter from the negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland says, acting under authority delegated by SAG-AFTRA National Board and with unanimous advice and counsel of the Interactive Media Agreement Negotiating Committee, called a strike of the Interactive Media Agreement effective on July 26th, 12:01 a.m. Wow. So technically, this is already in place as the
Yep.
time that we're
Hmm.
recording, and it is pure bonker sauce. I am curious what's going to happen going forward. If you were going to predict comics, if you were going to predict what's going to happen with this strike, what do you think you would? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't think it's going to help actors
Right.
in the slightest, right? I mean, look what happened with the previous SAG strike that we had.
Yeah.
It's going to cause the market to shrink. And
Yeah.
when it comes to people belonging to those unions, we're seeing it currently, with the union writing jobs, right? I
Yeah.
think we're going to see the exact same thing with voice actors. Like I said, they're going to either just use AI or they're going to look to independent voice actors.
Yeah, and I suspect that much like what they're experiencing in the Hollywood writing community, as you mentioned, which
Hmm.
is about 36% of a fall off, I think it's going to be even more than that. I think for all of I think next year when we look back at 2024, you're going to have a 40% decline or more. I think as we move forward, it's going to get smaller and smaller because they're going to try to get by with fewer and fewer humans. And if that
Hmm.
means using AI, so be it.
Yeah,
I
the
think
prestige of the job is going to go away at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think prestige is a strong word when it comes to television and film writing now, based
Hmm.
on, rings of power and other things that are out there. But
Yeah.
when it comes to video games, we've seen a considerable fall off as well. So I don't know. Any final thoughts on this before we get going there, comics?
Yeah, the industry can't get out of its. Let me start over. The industry just can't get out of its own way at this point. I think
Yeah.
that's like the biggest issue. We saw it with the writer strike of last year, the actor strike last year, and now we're seeing it again.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get much worse. And now
Mhm.
you've heard what we both think. What do you think? Do you think that this strike is going to help out the game industry at all? Do you think that since we've had such a dearth of video games over the course of the last several months, that it's going to dramatically and in a very bad way impact the market? Do you think we're going to see more or less AAA games in the next 10 years? I'm going to predict less, but I'm interested in what you have to say. So let us know down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, as I say, hit that thumbs up button and, share it around maybe because, sharing is caring. And finally, make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss the amazing live stream and other elements that we're putting out there in the world. And as always, game on.